What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today, we're talking about my 5 favorite cards from Lost Origins. Now, some of these are going to be combo pieces because that's just how the cards work. You can't have one of the cards, the other cards, and that's just how Pokemon works sometimes. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I think there's a lot of interesting things in Lost Origins that's going to spice things up. They're going to make the format really interesting. I think we don't see a lot of it right now online, just because everybody's probably still, ready for Baltimore, and it's, been a week, so we really haven't seen a lot of spicy stuff come out, but I have a feeling that Lost Origins is going to shake a lot of things up, right? Palkia, Arceus is the best decks. Will they still be the best decks going forward? Yeah, probably, but, will this shake stuff up? Yes, I think it will shake up a lot of stuff, and we'll talk about that here for a little bit. Now, if you watch the, set review of me talking about the set, you kind of could tell what my favorite cards were. But if you didn't want to spend an hour and listen to this voice, I don't know why you wouldn't spend an hour listening to me talk. This is kind of a brief summary of that. Me talking about my 5 favorite cards from Lost Origins. I'm not saying they're going to be the best. I'm not going to say they're going to be fantastic. But I do like these cards a lot. You're going to notice there's already some cards missing off the list. You're probably like, what about this card? This card is so good. And I'm like, guys, this is my favorite cards from the set. Leave me alone. I'm doing my thing. So anyways, so number 5. Number 5 is kind of a weird thing to talk about because it's not so much one card. Well, it kind of is one card. And it is Mirage Gate, right? You can only use card if you have 7 more cards in the Lost Zone. Search check for 2 basic energies of different types and attach them to your Pokemon any way you like. Then shuffle your deck. And so to play Mirage Gate, of course, you're going to have to play the Comfy. You look at the top 2 cards of the deck, put 1 in your hand, put the other card in Lost Zone. You're going to have to play Cold Experiment. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, put 3 of them in your hand, put the other cards in the Lost Zone. So these cards, they have to combine together, right? You can't just say, oh, I like Mirage Gate, this is my favorite card, blah, blah, blah. But at Mirage Gate, if you have a combo, I think it's probably my 5th favorite spot. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it goes in so many decks right now. And there's a ton of capabilities that you can play with this. Already online, I've seen people play Amazing Rare Reshiram. Let's pull that up real quick. I think I have the filters for Lost Origins on right now. So let's pull up, Amazing Rare. This could be probably with all the things. Like Amazing Rare Reshiram. 270, you do 60 damage to yourself. Really good card, but it needs a Fire, Lightning, and Dark. But with this new Mirage package, this new Lost Zone package, whatever you call it, can power it up, and you can just start swinging with Reshiram and go crazy and just start doing a ton of damage, and you have your own Radiant Charizard pretty much in Reshiram. 270 is really, really good. Of course, you put a choice spell on it, you do 300, then you put, Zigzagoons, you start pinging stuff, and it's a really good deck, and I think it's really cool, and Zora is nudging everything. She is being really lovely right now. But I think it powers a lot of good stuff. Not only, let's say Reshiram, let's talk about Duraludin. I think they say on JW's podcast and the Tag Team podcast. I think they say Duraludin. I think they always say Duraludon wrong just for the memes. But, G-Max Pulverization needs 3 energies. Most of the time you're playing this with good old Arceus. But now you can use Duraludin and Comfy in a Cold package. And maybe they just knock out 1 Comfy, right? Maybe they just get the 1 Comfy, and then they have to go through 2 Duraludins, right? Duraludons. So that could be something you can put in the deck. I think it's really spicy you can do. There's a lot of different things like this that you can do. Even the new hyped Gudra card, it's not on my it's not on the top 5 list, but once again, you need a water, metal, and a colorless. Once again, you can power this up with the Mirage Gate Lost Zone package. So I think this opens up a lot of capabilities that we really don't know about right now, and I think it will surprise a bunch of people. And so that's kind of where I am. That's why Mirage Gate is number 5. I think it's a really cool package that you can throw in a lot of decks that needed some weird energies. Maybe there's some kind of fighting decks out there that we can play now because we have Mirage Gate, because fighting was never a type that had supports, right? There was no good fighting support, energy acceleration, but now Mirage Gate, it supports every deck. It doesn't care. It doesn't care that you're not a Lost Zone Pokemon. It doesn't care that it's certain types. It only cares that you're basic and attach it any way you want. That's pretty cool. I like that. I like it a lot. That's why it's my number 5 spot. So in number 4, we're still gonna have the Mirage Gate package, but we're gonna have the full Lost Zone package, right? Whatever you want to call it. I think on Limitless right now they're calling the Lost Zone box, right? And it involves Comfy, right? But it plays 2 new cards, and that's Seaboy with Lost Mine. Maybe use attacking only 10 more cards, and also put 12 damage counters on its Pokemon any way you like. And you just kind of you put it out there, and you just do a ton of damage, put a ton of damage on the field, and you're kind of good that way. And then you use good old Cramorant, and it does 110. Its attack isn't affected by weakness. So you have all these different pieces. Yes, you're not taking immediate knockouts and all that kind of good stuff, right? But you have these Pokemon that do so much damage, and they only take 1 price card. So that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. It is really neat. I think this pairs well with good old Radiant Charizard. Once again, Radiant Charizard can be a card that you can play with this. And already right now, it's won a tournament of 42 and got second in a tournament of 60 by the same person, showing like, hey, this deck is good. It's good. But I like it because it's a single price deck. It's quick. Like, usually with these single price decks that need a ton of damage, you're not attacking until later on. But with Cram, you only need 4 cards in Lost Zone. That's literally 1 Comfy and a Color Spearmint, and you start attacking. And you start doing 110, you do 110, and like you could potentially do this on the first charges, 110, and you're good to go. And like some decks can't even swing turn 2, so that's fantastic. So I think Cramorant is a great spot. You just set up some knockouts, and Sableye comes in there and put 12 damage on the field somewhere, and you start taking knockouts. I think it is a really intricate deck though, but I think it's number 4 for me, just because of it. You know how it is. But at number 3 spot, we actually do just have a single card, and that is Drapion V. I think Drapion V is going to be the game changer. And once again, if you watched the video, you heard me talk about Mew, right? You know, it's dark, it hits weakness, 190 times 2 is 380. You're doing some things there, and that's because Wild Style. This Pokemon attacks costs 1 color less for each of your Pokemon's Single Strike, Rapid Strike, and Fusion Strike Pokemon in play. So if your opponent has 3 Rapid Strike Pokemon, 3 Fusion Strike, or 3 Single Strike Pokemon to play, Dynamic Tail needs 1 energy. If we're lucky enough and they have 4 in play, well, Dynamic Tail does a 190, just take a knockout. Now, the problem with this is some people are playing a Lost City in their deck, so you might need like 2 Drapions in your list to counter the Mews, to counter whatever. And one thing that we could do with this deck too is it does 190. So against Palkia decks, if they are playing the Inteleon's engine, which of course they're going to play in the Inteleon engine, and if they put a Palkia in the active and they drop 3 Sobbles, well, you can send Dynamic Tail with 1 energy and a Choice Belt and do 220 knock out the Palkia, which is pretty good for no energies or 1 energy. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice. So yeah, this card is really good. I think it's not only good and just gets Mew, but it gets a lot of decks because, a lot of decks play Inteleon, and as long as Inteleon is being played, Wild Style can sneak up out of nowhere and use Dynamic Tail and just do 190 out of nowhere. I got Crobats, which is good too. A lot of things going for Drapion V. I think it's fantastic. You're weak to fighting. Fighting's nowhere in the format right now. So I think you're good. They gave a really good card. And I put that at number 3 spot. And number 2, we got the poster child itself, Giratina V-Star. Lost Impact does 280. Put 2 energies attached to your Pokemon in Lost Zone. Star Requiem. You can only use attack if you have 10 or more cards in Lost Zone. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now knocked out. You can't use more than 1 V-Star in power in a game. The cool thing about this is you can use Star Requiem to just your opponent's active Pokemon's knocked out, so you can take 2 price cards, and the Lost Impact does 280 straight up and just knocks out Pokemon, which is it's great. It's fantastic. It's so good. You're just like, okay, 280, boom, you take a knockout, you're good to go. I have a question about something too with this. Yeah, so you can even get around Goodra. I think there are going to be a lot of different ways to play Giratina. You can play Escape Rope plus Boss Sword to knock out Goodra. That's pretty cool. You just one-slot Goodras there. You put a choice about, you're doing, 310. You knock out Mew VMAX unless they're Pumpkaboo, not Pumpkaboo, or Coriolis in play. You can't one-shot it, but still, 280, really good attack. The question is, how do you play Giratina V-Star? We've already seen different builds of Giratina V-Star coming online right now. And I think the 2 biggest ones that we've seen are going to be the Comfy Box, right? You use the Comfy engine, you get a bunch of your Pokemon stuff lost zone, and then you can use the Arceus one. Arceus can just like straight up power guaranteed V-Star, get 3 energies on it. You can put, with a lost impact, you need to put 2 energies attached to your Pokemon lost zone, which could be a DT on a benched Arceus or something like that, which is pretty neat. You can play other cards with Arceus as well. You're not locked into this Dragon Pokemon, right? Which is pretty cool. And the good thing about Giratina is, you have the Shred attack too. So with Arceus, you can just like put the energies on Giratina V, and then Shred can take some knockouts, get some Miltanks, stuff like that, which is pretty neat. So you have the answers to that. So I think Arceus Giratina is probably my favorite way to play the deck right now. But obviously, I haven't tested it. I haven't tested any cards. I haven't tested anything in Lost Origins. This is all just hypotheticals and stuff like that. But one way that we have started to see people play the deck is actually with Giratina and Leafeon V, which is pretty interesting. I was trying to find a list real quick, but I can't find one right now. But let's look up Leafeon. For those who don't remember, you have Greening Cells. Once your turn, you attach your for Grass, and you attach one of your Pokemon, then shuffle your deck and use build your turn ends. Unfortunately, your turn ends, but with Giratina V-Star, you need a Grass, Psychic, or Colorless. So, if you are lucky enough, you can attach a Psychic or Grass energy, and then use Leafeon V, attach an energy Giratina, and then next turn you can start attaching, and you don't have to worry about Comfy and stuff like this, and finding Mirage Gate, and finding all those trainers and supporter cards, stuff like that. So it's a pretty interesting build. It's number 3 that I've seen people play. I don't know which was better. I don't know. I don't know which was better just yet. But those are 3 different ways you can play it. There's probably different other ways you can play it as well. I mean, of course, you're always going to have the Mirage Gate package. Good. RC is good. You can power the Pokemon, and you have this new Leafeon stuff that's coming out of the woodworks, right? So that's number 3. I think Giratina is a fantastic card. 280. Scary. Then, Shred is good. So yeah, that's good. It's good cards. Good cards. But in my number 1 spot, no surprise at all, it's Mr. Zoroark. V-Star Zoroark has been always one of my favorite cards. Starting back in when you played Zoroark from Black and White with good old let's see, Donphan and Magnezone, and you call it Megazord and stuff, whatever. Zoroark was in there, and it was really good, and that's how long I've been playing Zoroark for a good long time, and it was one of my favorite cards, and Zoroark GX was a card that I played for so long. It was one of my favorite cards as well, and now we have this new Zoroark V-Star, which I think it's fantastic. I mean, you do 300 damage for a DTE. That is insane, alright? Kicking Curse is active 50 damage for each of your Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. So you get a bunch of Zoroarks in the field, and you use Gengar. Gengar has the Netherworld Gate. Once during the turn, this Pokemon's on your discard pile. You put it onto your bench. If you do, put 3 damage counters on this Pokemon. So you put the 3 damage counters on it, and then you use Damage Punch to move 2 damage counters from one of your Pokemon to any way you'd like. And then you kind of spread the love, and you get everybody with some damage on it. And then Zoroark comes in there and starts taking Curse and just starts taking knockouts, doing 300 plus, whatever. You do 280, of course, because of DTE, but with Choice Ball, okay, whatever. Now, you are colorless, you're not dark. So you do not have weakness on Mew, which is very important to note. I've seen people go, oh, how does Zoroark lose to Mew? Well, it's because it's not dark type. It's a colors type, because I think this is before he dies in, I think he dies in, Legend Arceus or something like that. In the new Arceus game, I think that's the situation. I think he dies or something. I don't know the full backstory. But Phantom Star, during the turn, you may discard your hand and draw 7 cards. So you do have a little bit of consistency with that as well, too. So you can just discard your hand, draw 7. So yeah, I have nothing bad to say about Zoroark V-Star. He's suited Zoroark, Void Return 30, you switch with one of your bench Pokemon. I don't think it's whatever, you get out of the way. Shadow Cyclone, you're never going to need to do 130, whatever. I think the big problem with this deck right now is you're going to have answers for Miltank. I mean, you can attack with Gengar, but I don't know. So I don't know if that's enough. That's what kind of gets me concerned. But just like with Giratina, I think Zork is an interesting spot because nobody really knows how to play the deck just yet, or we're trying different things. Like you look at the one that just won the other day, it played Mew, Crobat, Gengar, Luminion, and a 4/4 Zork. Pretty neat. There's another one that played. Okay, this one played Mew, Crobat, Gengar as well with Galarian Zigzagoon. There's another one that played the Gengar, Crobat, Dunsparce, played Dunsparce in it. And there's another one that Smart played. Smart TCG played it, but with a B barrel line. And I really like that one the most because this way you have a way to keep drawing. I get the Mew engine, right? You're looking at your cards, finding what you want. But with B barrel, you're constantly just drawing cards, and I think that's probably the real way to play the deck. That or maybe Chinchino, because like Chinchino can like discard Gengars and stuff like that. They put him in the discard pile, which was pretty neat. So yeah, also played Gatejaw Bog. Let me show that real quick. Which is a non-way to use. I gotta get the filter off. It's a way to not use Gengar. So you put a base Pokemon down, puts 2 damage counters on that Pokemon, then so you can use Damage Bomb and move the damage around. So yeah, there's a lot of things going for Zark. I think it's really good. And like Gatejaw Bog also hurts your opponent if they don't have the answer. Smart played 4 of them, which I think is money. That's money, dude. That's money. He also made Psych Energies for Gengar. I don't know if I like it. He also played Radar Hawlucha, which could be okay. I understand it, right? I understand it. You would do more to the VMAX and stuff like that to help with Mew. They have Oricorio and stuff, so that's kind of needed. I get it. It did play 1 Deontay. What did this thing do? As long as Pokemon's your act spot, and you probably put support card from their hand for all effects. Oh, so you can like turn 1 Zork Void Return into Deontay, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool because with Void Return you don't need an energy. It's colorless, so you don't have to find a DTE turn 1. So you can just use that switch to Deontay. That's pretty cool. And then it can't be brought up by supporter cards. It can be like, it could be switch out cross switcher. But I think Smart is owned to something. I think Smart has the best list so far. I'm pretty positive. If I was playing it, that's how I'll be playing it right now. I don't really like the Mew engine that we've seen. So, yeah. But there you go. There's my top 5 cards. Like I said, I'm not saying these are the best way to play it. These are brand new cards that are just now coming out. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. After Baltimore Regionals, of course, next week we'll start covering Lost Origin cards. And I think tomorrow we'll show off some decks. I keep talking about tournaments, so we'll have an early deck list where we show a bunch of decks off that have been doing well in the online scenes. We'll probably show like 4 or 5 different ones off and talk about them and stuff like that. But yeah, guys, there we go. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something new about my favorite cards. I mean, like Zark. Like I have wrong arm right here. I have Shaman and Celebi underneath. I want to put Zark and Hydreigon on there because those are my favorite 2 dark guys. So Zark's one of my favorite Pokemon. So I definitely want to make this deck work somehow. So we'll see. But guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. See you tomorrow. We're talking about the some top decks. Alrighty, guys. Bye.